All right, Shalom Israel. Welcome back to isbhpk San Antonio, and today we have a class about why give tithes and offerings. So you write that down on your notes if you got pen and paper. Why give tithes and offerings? That's the purpose of the class.
God.
And so we want to first say shalom to all the brothers and sisters out there in Houston, New York, Virginia, Albuquerque, Guatemala, England, California. You know, and all those other brothers that spread, all the other camps that spread this knowledge and spread this truth. We want to say shalom to the brothers and sisters. We want to say shalom at the water for watching. So today's topic is going to be why give tithes and offerings. And a lot of times, I don't recall ever really going over this class before, but maybe a war did. But I don't ever recall really having or doing a tithes class. We don't really try to bang on that too much. But it is part of the Bible and it's necessary. So today we want to kind of touch on why is it necessary? Why is it a fundamental aspect of serving the Most High? And what's the importance of tithes and offerings? Why give tithes and offerings? So that's what we want to touch on today. If you got, we kind of run a little behind schedule, so let's go ahead and get started. We have the definition of tithes up in the screen on the YouTube. So if you want to go ahead and read that down real quick.
Tithes, a 10th part of anything, the 10th part of the increase annually arising from the profits of land and stock.
So it's pretty much a tenth. A tithe means a tenth.
Yeah.
So a tithe is a 10th part of whatever you have that comes in. That's your way of recognizing and bestowing what belongs to the Most High to Him from what you receive throughout the year. So, for example, if I have, if I'm a farmer and I have some crops and I get 10 ears of corn that sprang up, 9 of those 10 ears of corn belong to me.
Oh.
That 10th ear of corn is given to the Most High. So the 10th of my substance of what I produce is given to the Most High, and we're going to go ahead and read about it as well. So let's go ahead and we're going to look at how far tithes go back in the first kind of time that you read or notion you start reading about tithes giving and what was happening. And that starts with Abraham. Abraham was one of the first in the Bible to be known as one to give tithes to the Most High, or a 10th of his substance, or a 10th of his profits, to the Most High. So let's go ahead and go there. Let's go to Genesis chapter 14 and let's read verse 17.
Genesis chapter 14 and verse 17. You ready?
All right. Let me go ahead and put it up here real quick. Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and read that.
Genesis chapter 14 verse 17. And the king of Sodom went out to meet him after his return from the slaughter of, what's that one?
To the Assyrians?
No, of Chedor Lamer,
Yeah, the king of the Assyrians.
and of the kings that were with him at the valley of Shaveh, which is the king's dale. And Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought forth bread and wine, and he was the priest of the Most High.
So this is when Abraham had to go rescue Lot and his servants from being captured by the Assyrians. And so Abraham had 300 men with him, and they went and slew the kings of Salem, of Sodom, and they brought back Lot and rescued Lot back. And this is when you first read about Melchizedek. Now Melchizedek is known as the priest of the Most High power. He's the priest of the Most High. He's a high priest. So this is when, on the way back from the slaughter and return of Lot, Abraham runs into Melchizedek. Go ahead.
Verse 19. And he blessed him and said, Blessed be Abram of the Most High power, possessor of heaven and earth. And blessed be the Most High power which hath delivered thine enemies into thine hand. And he gave him tithes of all.
So all of the rewards, all of the tributes or the tributary that he received, all of the enemy spoils that Abraham received when Melchizedek gave him that blessing. In return for that blessing, Abraham gave Melchizedek a tenth or a tithe of all the spoils. So this was in return of that blessing that Melchizedek put over his head. He said, you're blessed from the Most High Power. So in return of this blessing, and I want you to think about what I'm saying and what the scripture is saying. In return for this blessing, this is what Abraham gave in return for the blessing that he received from the Most High, being with him and assisting him in the victory over the Assyrians, the captors of Lot. So in return for this blessing, Abraham did what?
And gave him tithes of all. Verse 21. And the king of Sodom said unto Abram, give me the persons and take the good of thyself.
And you know what? Abraham was still humble. He says, listen, man, you know what? I don't want nothing from the victory. Just give me the people that belong to me. Give me my kinfolk. Give me my kinsmen. I don't want nothing in return. Just give me my kinsfolk and whatever it is that they need to function, and you keep everything else. Go ahead.
Verse 22. And Abram said to the king of Sodom, I have lifted up mine hand unto the Lord, the Most High Power, the possessor of heaven and earth, that I will not take from a thread even a shoe latch, and that I will not take anything that is thine, lest thou shouldest say, I have made Abram rich, save only that which the young men have eaten, and the portion of the men which went with me, Aner, Eshcol, and Mamre. Let them take their portion.
So he's saying, Abraham had already said, I had already made a vow to the Most High that if the Most High would grant me victorious in this particular event, in this struggle, that I don't want anything in return. So the Most High had reminded Melchizedek that he had already said to the Most High, if the Most High make me victorious, I don't want anything in return. So there was already a vow that Abraham had put up to the Abram put up to the Most High in regard of this dangerous mission that he went on to save his nephew, Lot. All right. So this is the first time you really read about someone actually giving tithes in the Bible. But what you're going to find out is that tithes have a lot to do with relationships. They have a lot to do with relationships. And the relationship primarily is between you and the Most High. And so the reward or the spoils of victory of what Abraham received or Abram received was just the finishing or the significant seal that the Most High would grant him safety and security and victory. So in return, Abram would have given this tithe or this tenth, but he really already said, I don't want nothing from it. So when you look at Abram, you can also look at Joseph. Let's read this also in let's go to Genesis chapter 28, and I want you to read verse 20.
Genesis 28?
Yeah, Genesis chapter 28. I want you to read, this is Jacob. This is Jacob also. What you're going to find out is before it became a law,
Page 42.
Or a statute, before it became a law or a statute, men had already been giving tithes or given a certain portion of the victory of their spoils to the Most High, even before it became a law. And we'll look at what was the significance of patriarchs in the Bible establishing this relationship with the Most High through tithes, through giving a tenth. Why was that necessary? And what was the grounds of the tithes? Let's go to Genesis chapter 28, verse 20.
Genesis chapter 28 and verse 20. And Jacob vowed a vow, saying...
Now stop right there. It says, Jacob vowed a vow, saying what?
Saying, if the Most High will be with me and will keep me in this way that I go, and will give me bread to eat and raiment to put on, so that I come again into my Father's house in peace, then shall the Lord be my power. And this stone which I have set for a pillar shall be the Most High's house. And of all that thou shalt give me, I will surely give thee tenth unto thee.
So what are we reading right here? What did we just read in this in these two verses right here? These three verses, 28, actually 20, 21, and 22. What did we just read Jacob say to the Most High? Say it again. What stands out? You said a vow? A vow meaning what?
A promise.
A promise. Making a promise. How many of us make promises to the Most High? How many of us tell the Most High with our words that if you let this thing be in my favor, this situation or this circumstance, or you get me through this trouble, or you let me come out safe and sound or victorious, or you let me live, or you keep me free, or you allow me to remain healthy or stable. How many of us, or you bless me with what I asked you for? How many of us actually make promises to the Most High and are hoping that the Most High hears our promise? How many of us do that? All the time. All the time. We always, and if you think about it, there's probably a list that comes to mind of promises that you told the Most High that you would keep.
It's more of like making a deal.
It is a deal. It's a negotiating.
Deal or no deal, right?
Yeah. You're negotiating. But you know, I like what you're saying. It's like making a deal, because the deal is basically I'm testing whether the Most High will come through for me or not. It's a deal based upon hope.
Yeah.
It's a deal based upon I'm using faith in this deal. So I'm gonna make this vow in faith. So in return, I'm gonna say something to the Most High, and I'm gonna say, if you do this, so there's terms and conditions, then I will do this in return.
A transaction.
It's a transaction. It's a negotiation, but it's done in hope and it's done in faith. So let's read that one more time.
20.
Mm-hmm.
Genesis chapter 28 verse 20. And Jacob vowed a vow, saying, "As the Most High will be with me, and I will keep me in this way that I go, and will give me bread to eat and raiment to put on, so that I come again to my father's house in peace."
Listen to what Jacob's terms are. Listen to the conditions of his vow. He says, if the Most High will be with me, number one. So why would a person even have that term or that condition in their vow?
Protection.
They don't think that he's with them.
They need confirmation. A lot of our people need confirmation that the Most High exists, because we serve an invisible power, right? So it takes faith to serve the Most High. We gotta know that. Hebrews 11:6 says what?
Without faith, it's impossible to please him.
Yep. So let's read that real quick. 1 and 2 first, and then verse 6. Somebody get that? Whoever got it.
You said Hebrews 11?
Yeah, 1 and 2, and then 6.
Come. Hebrews 11. Oh, you got it?
I got it.
Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1 reads, "Now faith is the substance of things hoped for."
So it says faith is the what?
Substance.
So faith has a substance, meaning it's made out of something. What is faith made out of? What are the ingredients of faith?
Of things hoped for.
What is the main ingredient of faith?
Of things hoped for.
It's made out of hope. The substance of faith is hope. That's the main ingredient to faith. Is you got to have hope. That's the main ingredient to faith is hope. It says the substance of things what?
Hoped for.
Go ahead.
The evidence of things not seen.
And it's Evidence are facts. So it are validation upon things that what?
Of things not seen.
So when you look at faith and you break down faith, faith is believing in something that you cannot see, but you only hope for it. The hope is all you have that's tethered to this thing that you're hoping for or that you're having faith in. The only thing keeping you there is the fact that I'm hoping that this is not going to be in vain. I'm hoping that the Most High hears my prayers. I'm hoping that the Most High sees me. I'm hoping that the Most High walks with me. So it's all based upon hope. And hope in something that you have to believe that's there even though you cannot see it. And this is how the Most High requires his relationships with us. His relationships with us are commanded to be in hope. They're commanded to be in faith. Read on.
Come. Of things not seen.
Of things what?
Not seen.
Go ahead.
For by it the elders obtain a good report.
And if you look at the elders, they had to have faith in order to establish a relationship with the Most High and do the miracles that they actually performed, and to undergo the tragedies that they went through. Something had to keep them up. Something had to keep them strong and keep them enduring through their trials and tribulations. And if you look at what Abraham went through, if you look at what Moses went through, if you look at what Jacob went through, if you look at what Joshua went through or Joseph went through, something had to keep them firm and sound to undergo the tribulation that they went through in life. He says, but by faith the elders obtained a good report. Now, how important is this faith? This evidence or this substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. How important is it? Read verse 6.
Verse 6. But without faith it is impossible to please him.
So without faith, can you please the Most High?
La.
You can have no way of obtaining a relationship with the Heavenly Father without some type of faith and without using some type of hope. Read.
But without faith it is impossible to please him.
Go ahead.
For he that cometh to the Most High must believe that he is.
You must believe that the Most High, when it says he is, meaning the Most High exists.
He's real.
That's what it said. When he is, that means he exists. So in order to please the Most High, you have to believe that the Most High is real. You have to believe that the Most High exists. Otherwise, your faith is in vain, your hope is in vain. You got to first believe in the unseen. And you got to hope in the unknown. Read on.
And that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him.
So what we're reading about in Genesis, now let's go back to Genesis chapter 28 and read verse 20 again. What you're reading about is Jacob establishing a relationship with the Most High based upon hope, based upon faith. But here is Jacob giving you the conditions that he would need to see, that he's hoping for in order to establish this relationship with the Father.
Come.
This is the conditions of a relationship. Just like when you go into a relationship. You go into a relationship hoping that the person is good for you. You go into a relationship hoping that the person is the right one. That I met the right person. And I met the right one. And this is who I need to give my life, to share my life with and live out the rest of my years in joy and peace and tranquility. I found my soulmate. Everybody goes into a relationship hoping that this person will do them some good. But it doesn't always work out like that. Because what we find out is people don't keep their word. People don't keep their promise. People aren't faithful.
To their side of the bargain.
They don't keep their promises. And they don't always keep their word. But the Most High is different. Regardless of what you have learned from people, you still got to be able to look at the Most High in the most purest way possible to establish your relationship. You have to set terms and conditions of what you need to see from the Heavenly Father to motivate your faith even more. And that's all that Jacob is doing, is he's putting the Most High to the test. He's saying, if you're real. Because a lot of times when we're broken down and humbled, and we get put in predicaments that are tragic or scary or fear or full of fear, we call out to the Most High in faith.
Come.
That's when we reach out to the Most High. But that's all we're reading about that Jacob is doing initially. He's telling the Most High, listen, I'm putting you to the test. If you could be with me. Let's read his conditions. Read that again, verse 20.
Genesis chapter 28, verse 20. And Jacob vowed a vow, saying, if the Most High be with me, and will keep me in this way that I go,
And keep me safe in the way that I go. Go ahead.
and will give me bread to eat,
And it feed me. He give me food to eat.
and raiment to put on.
And he keep me with clothes on. He didn't ask for $1 million in order to see if the Most High is real. He didn't ask to win the lotto. He didn't ask for some insurmountable amount of money. He just said, just for the fact, if you keep me safe, and if you keep clothes on my back, you keep me fed. Go ahead.
Verse 21. So that I come again to my father's house in peace.
And then you allow me to come back to my father's house in
Safety.
peace and safety. Because what was Jacob doing anyway? He was running. He was running from Esau. So his mother sent him to Laban in Padanaram to go get a wife because he knew his brother would kill him. So he said, let me return back to my father's house in peace. Safety. Go ahead.
Then shall the Lord be my power.
Oh, there it is right there. He says, then shall the what?
The Lord be my power.
So what is Jacob saying right here? He needs certain things to be convinced that the Most High is real. Just like we all do. Each and every one of us needs some validation that the Most High is real in order for us to go all in with the Father. Otherwise, we kind of serve the Most High in a sometimey fashion. Sometimes he may be with me, sometimes he's not. Sometimes I'm with the Most High, sometimes I'm not. You know, it's a real unsure relationship. It's not a sound relationship. But what Jacob is saying is, if you do these things for me that are quite obtainable, he says that's all I need to see in order to go all in my belief in you. And when he says you shall be my power, meaning you'll be the source of my strength from this day forward. I will not depend on anyone or anything else other than you. That's what he's saying when you'll be my power, meaning you're the source of my strength. So he's saying that I will give all my dedication and allegiance to you if you do these things. We need validation in order to believe in the Most High. So, read on.
Verse 22. And this stone which I have set for a pillar shall be the Most High's house. And of all that thou shalt give me, I will surely give thee tenth unto thee.
And this is my promise to you. So now, here are the terms of the relationship. If you can bring me back safe, give me food, give me raiment, bring me back to my father's house, I'll believe in you. And if you establish my house, then in return for establishing my house, he says, I'm going to put this pillar right here because I'm going to dedicate, that's Jacob's part of the deal. That's Jacob's side of the bargain. Since if you do bring me back safe and sound, this pillar right here will be a signet, will be a sign of our relationship. And I'll dedicate my house to you. Read on. It says, and of all that thou shalt give me, I will surely give thee tenth unto thee. Right? And that tenth is a tithe. And that's what the tithe is. A tithe is a tenth. But when you look at the original definitions and understandings of a tithe, it was solidified by a vow. And it coincided a vow for the purpose of establishing a relationship. It really didn't have nothing to do with you just giving money to the church. It wasn't about that. A tithe was about your relationship with the Heavenly Father. You and your relationship with nobody else's. That was a personal relationship between you and the Heavenly Father before it ever became a law. What we're reading about Abraham Abram and Jacob, there wasn't a law of tithe yet. There was no commandment of tithes as of yet. These were men who were hoping to have a better relationship with the Most High before tithes ever became a commandment. They were already looking to have some type of fellowship with the Father. Just like we should all look to have a fellowship with the Most High. So when you look at tithes in its origin, specifically pre-Mosaic law, this was just men putting the Most High to the test and putting their end of the bargain and them saying, if you do this, I'm going to do this. Now, when you do a vow, give me Numbers chapter 30 verse 2. Give me Numbers chapter 30 verse 2. And somebody go to page 48 in the Josephus.
Numbers 30 and verse 2. If a man vow a vow unto the Most High.
It says, if a man do what?
Vow a vow unto the Most High.
So yeah, you know what? The Most High takes vows very seriously. But you know what? That was a way that Jacob was trying to establish that connection with the Father. Because these vows are very serious.
Page 262.
These vows are very serious. He says, if a man does what?
Vow a vow unto the Most High, or swear an oath to bind his soul with a bond.
It says, or swear an oath to bind his soul with what?
A bond.
A bond. A bond, right? So a bond is a connection. So I'm making a promise to the Most High because I'm trying to establish a connection with the Most High. So what was used? What are we reading about prior to the Mosaic law demanding that a commandment be ordained for you to give tithes? Men were using tithes as a way to establish a connection or a bond with the Father.
The word bond means union or connection.
And that's what
or cause of union.
Or cause of union, right? Now, somebody give me Antiquities of the Jews. It's page 48. It's book 1, chapter 19, paragraph 3. Start there. Whoever got it. It's page 48. It's paragraph 3 at the left side of 48.
Page 48, paragraph 3, right?
Yeah, I think Karai gonna get
Right,
it.
cool.
You got it?
Yes.
All right.
Paragraph 3,
Yes, sir.
line 284.
Absolutely.
Such were the predictions which the Heavenly Father made to Jacob,
Go ahead.
whereupon he became very joyful at he had seen and heard.
At what he had seen and heard.
And he poured oil on the stones, because on them the prediction of such great benefits was made.
Go ahead.
He also vowed a vow
He also vowed a vow
that he should offer sacrifices upon them if he lived and returned safe, and if he came again in such a condition, he would give the tithe of what he had gotten to the Heavenly Father.
So he made a promise that I'm going to give you 1/10 of everything that I receive. If you keep your word, I'm going to keep my word. Go ahead.
He also judged the place to be honorable, and gave it the name of Bethel, which in the Greek is interpreted the house of the Heavenly Father.
All right. So the house of the Most High. Yes, sir.
I got the definition of vow, if you want it.
No, that's fine. I want to read this in Deuteronomy. I mean Numbers chapter 30, verse 2.
You want 2 from the top?
Yeah, 2 from the top.
Numbers chapter 30 and verse 2. If a man vow a vow unto the Most High,
Well, you can read the definition after this. Go ahead.
or swear an oath
Or swear an oath. Go ahead.
to bind his soul with a bond, he shall not break his word.
He shall not do what?
Shall not break his word.
So it's a bond that you're creating based on your word. So guess what? The Most High is expecting you when you vow a vow to the Most High, or you make a promise to the Most High, or what definition you got for vow?
Vow, in the Zondervan Compact Dictionary, reads, a voluntary promise to the Most High to perform some service or do something pleasing to him in return for some hope for benefits.
It says in return of some hope for what?
Benefits.
Meaning you don't got the benefits, but you're already paying it forward. Even though you don't have the benefits yet, you're already putting forth some type of vow and backing it up by some actions to show the Most High that if you engage with me in this bond, if you go into terms with me in this bond, in this union, in return for this bond and union, I'm going to give you such and such. And in this particular case, Abram had already told Melchizedek, listen, I don't want nothing, no spoils from this, because I had already told the Most High that if he give me victorious, I won't take nothing, not a thread from the enemies. So Abram had already made a vow to the Most High prior to going to battle against the Assyrians to restore Lot. Jacob had already made a vow going out to the Padanaram to go to Laban's his mother's brother, and already made a promise to the Most High, if you allow me to come back safely, that I'm gonna do this. This is a voluntary promise. In return, meaning I don't have the blessing in my hand as of yet, but I'm still gonna move and operate as if the Most High heard my prayer. I'm gonna go ahead and move and operate as if the Most High, and I'm gonna also do the things that I told the Most High I was gonna do in order to signify this bond or solidify this bond. Read that definition one more time, Maola.
Con. Vow in the Compact Zondervan Dictionary reads, a voluntary promise to the Most High to perform some service or do something pleasing to him in return for some hope for benefits or to abstain from certain things.
So if I told the Most High, if you allow this to go through for me and what I'm hoping for, I won't drink alcohol. I won't smoke cigarettes. I won't eat fast food. I'll put away TV, or I'll put away cartoons, or I'll stop playing video games. It's something that you're giving the Most High. You're giving something up in exchange for something greater.
I'm committing to it. I'm committing to a discipline to benefit the Father.
Right, but to restore in the purpose of reconciling our relationship or establishing our relationship. This is the beginning of what you call building trust, because that's how you build trust with a person. You know how you build trust with a person? You start sharing little things about you, little by little, that are intimate, that are secret to you, that are personal to you. You start sharing little bits and pieces about yourself. And in return, that this person is going to keep what you told them and what you gave them in high regard or in high esteem or as sacred, and not to just go tell everybody else. You do that when you're building trust with somebody. When you're building trust with the Most High, you're building a relationship with the Most High, we tend to make promises to the Most High. And this is what you find out, is that all this promise was, or this vow was, that if the Most High is with me, I'm gonna in return do such and such. That's how our forefathers initially established a relationship with the Father. But the Most High finds vows very sacred and very critical. So read that definition one more time. We're gonna move forward.
Come.
Not the definition, the verse.
Okay.
God. Numbers 30 and verse 2. If a man vow a vow unto the Most High, or swear an oath to bind his soul with a bond, he shall not break his word. He shall do according to all that proceedeth out of his mouth.
And the Most High is expecting you to keep your word. Because guess what? Is the Most High not going to keep his word?
God.
He's not a man that he should lie.
He's not a man that he should lie. So the Most High does keep his word. But the problem is, if the Most High comes through for you and the thing that you ever so hope for, will you keep your word?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what the Most High wants to see, because a relationship is two ways. It's not just all take and no give. Both parties are giving. Both parties are compromising. And that's what the Most High wants you to do with him. Put him to the test. But that was our forefathers' way of initially establishing a bond with the Father. Is that if you make me victorious, or you bless me with such and such, 1/10 of this is yours. 1/10 of everything I possess that you gave me is yours. So it has a lot to do initially in the establishment of a relationship for the purposes of trust and bond building and relationship making. All right. So that's the first part of what a tithe, which you'll find out about a tithe. It has to do with establishing relationships. All right. Y'all got that written down? All right. So the Most High is expecting you to keep your word, right? All right. Galatians chapter 3 verse 17.
Galatians chapter 3, verse 17.
Page 1631. Page 1631.
Read that.
Galatians chapter 3, verse 17. And this I say, that the covenant that was confirmed before of the Most High in Christ, the law, which was 430 years after, cannot disannul.
How long was the law? Go ahead.
Which was 430 years after, cannot disannul, that it should make the promise of none effect.
So the Most High made a promise to Abraham, and this promise was 430 years. This negotiation that and relationship that the Most High had, this bond, this union that the Most High had with Abraham, existed 430 years before there was actually a law being given or a commandment being given. So their relationship had already been established. So there's promises that the Most High had promised Abraham that Abraham was going to receive regardless of what the law said. So the promises that the Most High made to Abraham existed 430 years before Moses. And so the Most High is such a man of his word that even though laws had came into place, it had the new laws that the Most High established with Moses and the children of Israel had nothing to do with Abraham not receiving the benefits of their relationship prior to Moses given the law. There was already a connection, there was already promises made, and there was already things that the Most High said that would happen and befall Abraham before the law was ever brought to Moses. Showing you that this commitment was committed prior to Moses. Before there was ever a commandment that you had to give tithes, this type of relationship was already being established by giving tithes to the patriarchs and forefathers of our book. So from there, let that go. I just want to prove that this wasn't a law at first. This is how the Most High made bonds with men. They were already promising the Most High a tenth of their substance in return for favor. So let's go to when it became a law. Leviticus chapter 27, verse 30. So now the Most High, Abraham, Jacob, they were telling the Most High, in return for what you do, I'm going to give you a tenth. Now it became a law. So let's read in Leviticus chapter 27, verse 30.
Leviticus chapter 27, verse 30. And all the tithes of the land, whether of the seed of the land or of the fruit of the tree, is the Lord's.
It says, read that again.
Leviticus 27, verse 30. And all the tithes of the land, whether of the seed of the land or of the fruit of the tree, is the Lord's.
So when you give a tithe, then that tenth of what you produce, whether it be seeds, whether it be crops, go ahead,
is the Lord's.
It belongs to who?
The Most High.
That's the law. You're supposed to give tithes. You're supposed to give a tenth of what you produce, of your increase. That's a law. Mm-hmm. So just so if you didn't know, if you thought that was just a church thing, or you did it in church but you didn't understand it, because sometimes the church pick and choose what laws they want to keep and which ones they want to throw out, or which ones they don't want to address. They'll serve bacon and pork in the church, but then they'll make sure they maintain the collection plate being passed around. So they pick and choose sometimes what they want to follow and what they don't. But that is a law. Giving tithes is a law. Giving 10% of your increase is a law. So read that part again.
Leviticus chapter 27, verse 32. And concerning the tithes of the herd or of the flock, even of whatsoever passeth under the rod, the tenth shall be holy unto the Most High.
So a shepherd has a staff, and that's what the rod is, a shepherd's staff. It's a staff with a little hook on it. You can hook sheep. So when you count what belongs to you, what you keep in what you produce and your earnings, and what belongs to the Most High, so you got 10 sheep. So the 10th sheep you count under the rod. The shepherd goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The 10th sheep that belongs to the Most High. Every 10th part belongs to the Most High. So if you got 100, then 10 of that 100 belongs to the Most High. But what we like to do, just read on. I don't want to jump
Verse
in.
33. He shall not search whether it is good or bad.
So what we like to do is do what?
Pick which one.
We like to pick and choose what we're going to give to the Most High and what we're going to keep. What would you call that in this particular, knowing that what you're giving and what you're doing is establishing a relationship with the Most High? What would you call that if I try to retain what's owed to the Most High, and I try to give and keep the good and give the Most High what's not so desired, not the pick of the litter?
Finesse or
Robbing the Most High.
I'm robbing the Most High. I'm trying to finesse the Most High.
What I've got.
Right, that's what it is. I'm robbing the Most High. But that's what we try to do. We try to finesse the Most High. We try to pick and choose what we want to give to the Most High. When what the Most High is saying is that you just give a tenth. You don't worry about, because what we'll do is say, we'll try to do this with the Most High. This is how bad we are as people. We'll try to say, okay, we get a bonus check. We'll say, I ain't going to give the Most High a tenth of my bonus check. You know what I'm saying? Because that was a bonus check. I didn't expect that check, but that check, it's a holiday bonus on top of I put in double time. So I got a big old check coming this month. But I'm not going to tithe. I'm not going to give my 10% out of the bonus check. What I'll do is I'll wait till that other little check come through. And these are ways that, modern day ways, we try to finesse the Most High. I'm going to wait till I get the little check when I only have like 20 hours on it, 10 hours on it, and then I'll make sure I give 10% of that small check. But that big check, that income tax check, no, man. We don't want to get it. That's income tax.
It's different.
That's different. These are taxes that I already paid.
Yeah.
These are taxes that I had already paid. I'm just getting it back in return.
Yeah.
So that's different. We try to pick and choose what, stimulus, income tax check. The Most High said of all your increase of your substance. He's not looking at where it came from.
So all the increase.
He just said the increase of your substance. He's not looking at what it is or where it came from, or whether it's a bonus check, a holiday check, or extra check, or Christmas check, or he don't care about what check it is or what. Yes, sir.
That's why in Genesis 14:20 said tithes of all. Like here's some cow, here's some sheep, here's gold or whatever. It's of all.
Right.
Is that correct?
Yes, it is. It's tithes of all, meaning it's not just of one thing, because we like to pick and choose what we want to give to the Most High. What you really call that is doubt. What you really call that is a lack of faith. And it's a lack of trust in the Most High. So if I'm trying to preserve some of my income, and I'm trying to preserve some of what I gain, I'm really not going into this relationship with my whole heart. I really don't fully believe in the Most High all too well. If I'm trying to skip out on what it is what I'm trying to give him, and I'm trying to sift through my finances to decide what to give to the Most High.
You're skimming the Most High.
I'm skimming off the top of the Most High, what belongs to the Most High. Well, let me knock this bill out first, and then after I knock this bill out, I'm gonna take care of the Most High on the next check or the next bill or the day. If you got faith in the Most High and you really want to establish a relationship with the Most High, then give that 10%. It's a certain perspective of how you got to look at tithes anyway. This is how you got to look at tithes. Somebody give me Psalms chapter 50. Somebody give me Psalms chapter 50. Write this down. This is how you got to look at tithes. If you're having trouble giving, that 10%, or you find it difficult to open your substance to the Most High, give me Psalms chapter 50 verse 10. This is how you really got to start looking at things a certain way. You got to reevaluate how you look at the Most High. Hold that right there. Yeah, let me get there too. Psalms chapter 50, right?
And page 849.
Let's get Psalms chapter 50. Go ahead and read that. Verse 10.
Psalms chapter 50, verse 10. For every beast of the forest is mine.
Let's read that again.
For every beast of the forest is mine.
So what is this telling you already from the jump?
Everything's already his anyway.
Everything is already the Most High's anyway. Everything on earth already belongs to the Most High. So if I'm having trouble giving it back to the Most High, what already belongs to him, then I'm not looking at what he owns and what he possesses. Why should I have trouble at giving the Most High what already belongs to him anyway? Did I make corn? No, I didn't make corn. I could grow corn. Who made corn? Most High. Did I make cattle? I can breed cattle, but I didn't make the cattle. Who gave me the cattle to eat? The Most High. Did I make wheat? No, I made bread from wheat. I didn't make the wheat. So everything already belongs to the Most High. I shouldn't have trouble giving to the Most High what already belongs to him from the beginning. This is the mind frame you got to train yourself with if you're having trouble giving the Most High his 10%. You're just loaning it or in appreciation for the Most High, for the Most High allowing you to utilize it for your survival. I'm just saying that I'm vowing I will give the Most High. I'm committing. I'm making this commitment. I'm binding myself that in appreciation for the Most High, let me utilize his creation for my survival. Utilizing the corn, utilizing the cattle, utilizing the wheat or the grain or the barley or the oats. In return for him allowing me to partake in it for my survival, it should be nothing for me to just give the Most High his 10%. It's his anyway. It was never fully mine. We have to start looking at the Most High like we're just renters.
Yeah.
The Most High is the landlord. He's the owner of the property. We're just renting it from him. Why would I have a problem giving the Most High's house back? We got to start looking at the Most High not as just this. If I give it, it's going to disappear, or it's going to be in vain, or the Most High may not see it. It's all doubt. I got to start retraining my mind to realize that everything belongs to the Most High anyway. Read on.
Psalms 50 in verse 10. For every beast of the forest is mine.
Go ahead.
And the cattle upon 1,000 hills.
And he says, and the cattle upon 1,000 hills. Go ahead.
Verse 11. I know all the fowls of the mountains.
We don't even know all the fowls of the mountains. We don't even know how to name all the fowls and the birds that fly in the mountains. But the Most High does. He knows all the cattle. He knows all the animals. He knows all the species that's out there. So when we give the Most High a tenth of what we receive, just 10%, you're not asking. The Most High is not asking for a whole lot. He's not asking for everything that you got. He's just asking for a small percentage of what is his anyway. Read on.
And the wild beasts of the field are mine. If I were hungry, continue.
Yeah, read on down.
If I were hungry, I would not tell thee, for the world is mine.
He said what?
If I were hungry, I would not tell thee, for the world is mine.
How much belongs to the Most High?
The world.
The whole world belongs to the Most High. So he's not asking for everything. He's just asking for 10%. Very small amount. We shouldn't have trouble giving to the Most High what actually belongs to him anyway. It shouldn't be a problem. Read on.
And the fullness thereof.
And the fullness thereof. Go ahead.
Will I eat the flesh of bulls, or drink the blood of goats? Offer unto the Most High thanksgiving.
What does the Most High want from us?
Thanksgiving.
What does the Most High want from us?
Thanksgiving.
What is the purpose of a tithe?
To show thanks.
It's to show thanksgiving. The 10% that the Most High is asking of you is just your way of showing the Most High, I'm thankful for what you're giving me. Actually, I'm thankful for what you've lent me. Because all of it belongs to the Most High. I'm thankful for what you bestowed upon me and what you allowed me to use for my survival. This is my way of showing the Most High I'm thankful. It's not the Most High taking advantage of you. It's not the Most High trying to steal something from you. A tithe is a way to show the Most High thanksgiving. Go ahead.
And pay thy vows unto the Most High.
And do what?
Pay thy vows unto the Most High.
And it's also a way for you to do what?
Pay your vows to the Most High.
It's a bargaining chip that you use to negotiate a relationship with the Heavenly Father. And he's saying the tithe is to be thankful, to pay your tithes and offerings is a way to show appreciation for my existence. My existence and my providence over you to take care of you. See, giving tithes takes faith in the Most High. And this is what the Most High uses as a term of a relationship, or the conditions of or terms of an agreement, to see if you really believe in them or not. Because if you believe in the Most High, you wouldn't really have problems giving the Most High 10%.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be a big deal. It wouldn't be a big deal. It was nothing for Abram to give the Most High 10% after receiving Lot and Lot's sheep herders and his laborers. It was nothing for. That's why Abram was like, man, I don't want the spoils. I want my nephew back, and I want what belongs to him. Jacob said, listen, man, if you bless me on my return, a safe return, give me food and give me some clothes, cover me up. He said, I'm going to take, as a sign of this agreement and this covenant between me and you, I'm going to build this. This pillar is going to be a sign that this rock is going to be built, and in this place it's going to be called the house of the Most High. The house of the Most High, Bethel. So, read on.
God. And I will deliver thee, top 14.
14.
Top of 14?
Mm-hmm.
Come. Offer unto the Most High thanksgiving, and pay thy vows unto the Most High.
And this is how you pay your vows to the Most High, is through that 10%. And what will the Most High do in return? Read on.
And call upon me in the day of trouble.
And because you pay your vows, because you pay your tithes, because you give the Most High in return for what He's done for you, He'll do what?
I will deliver thee, and thou shalt glorify me.
He says, I'll deliver you and I'll glorify you. So what does the Most High use in order for us to establish this relationship with us, and in order for Him to become our protector? He uses these vows. He uses these tithes. He uses these offerings as a way to establish a greater connection with us.
So we don't forget the Most High.
But exactly. And for not forgetting the Most High blesses us with more. And He protects us. It guarantees our protection. And it guarantees our survival. Our faith is so limited, though. We're so afraid to give because we think that if I give 10%, I'll have nothing left. But you know what you forfeit? You forfeit your own safety when you do that. And I like what you said right there, because it brings us to this point right here. Go to Malachi chapter 3 verse 7. But before you do that, hold on. You got to finish something. You was in Leviticus 27.
I was on 33.
You was on 33. Finish that in Leviticus.
Leviticus chapter 27, at the top, verse 33. He shall not search whether it be good or bad, neither shall he change it. And if he change it at all, then both it and the change thereof shall be holy. It shall not be redeemed. Verse 34?
Yeah.
Verse 34. These are the commandments which the Most High commanded Moses for the children of Israel in Mount Sinai.
So this was a law instituted in Mount Sinai that you have to pay 10% to the Most High for everything that He's done for you. But it's that tithe is an opportunity to show the Most High praise and thanksgiving. That tithe is a way to show the Most High, I appreciate what you've done for me. And from appreciating what He's done for you, by giving that tenth, in return He comes back and he's a power for you. He's a safety for you. See, a lot of times we don't realize how valuable these tithes are. We don't realize how valuable these vows are.
That's true. We don't see the relevance of it.
We don't see that. We just think this church trying to get money, but we don't look at the origin. The origin of tithes had nothing to do with just churches trying to get money. Over time, yes, churches do abuse the money, buying jets and planes and escalators and elevators in their homes and private yachts.
And gold sinks and gold.
Gold sinks and gold toilets and Bentleys and all, and they're utilizing, they're mega churches, man. Mega churches with huge congregations that fill up 60,000 seat auditoriums, 100,000 seat auditoriums, 200,000 members in the congregation, and they all give a 10%, and the pastor got a private island. But yet the people aren't doing well. Yeah, yes, there's abuse of the tithes. Yes, there's abuse of these offerings. But prior to that had nothing to do with what people were going to do with it. That's just false pastors taking advantage of people. But prior to that, the Most High always wanted to see where your relationship was at with Him. And tithes was a way to find that out. Let's go to Let's go to Numbers real quick before we go down there to Malachi. Go to Numbers chapter 18, verse 24. So tithes were a requirement. Write that down. Tithes were a requirement for all the children of Israel. It was a requirement by law.
Numbers chapter 18, verse 4.
24.
24 reads, "But the tithes of the children of Israel, which they offer as a heave offering unto the Lord."
A heave offering is an offering of grain or money. It doesn't have to be corn. It could be grain. It could be corn. It could be barley. A heave offering is either in a crop or it could be money. It could be either or. Go ahead.
"I have given to the Levites to inherit. Therefore I have said unto them, among the children of Israel they shall have no inheritance. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Thus speak unto the Levites, and say unto them, When ye take of the children of Israel the tithes which I have given you from them for your inheritance, then ye shall offer up an heave offering of it for the Lord."
So even the Levites who received the tithes from the people, from the children of Israel, they were also responsible for taking the best of what they were given by the people and also giving a tithe. See, even the Levites who received the tithes had to pay tithes. Nobody was exempt. Everybody had a responsibility to pay tithes. Go ahead.
Come. "Even as a 10th part of the tithe. And this your heave offering shall be reckoned unto you, as though it were the corn of the threshing floor, and as the fullness of the winepress."
He says, "In this house should be reckoned unto you." You got to look at even the Levites had to give their best that they received from the people. Even they couldn't hold back and pick and choose what they were going to keep back for themselves. They were responsible for giving the best in their offering to the Most High. They had to give the best. Read on.
Verse 28. "Thus ye also shall offer an heave offering unto the Lord of all your tithes, which ye receive of the children of Israel, and ye shall give thereof the Lord's heave offering to Aaron of the priest.
So who did the Levites have to give it to? Aaron. Aaron was the high priest. So the Levites had to set aside a tithe or 10% of what they received from the people, and they had to dedicate it to the high priest. Everybody was obligated to show the Most High some type of offering and some type of vow committed by giving that 10th. Nobody was exempt. Everybody was responsible, from the leaders of the people down to the people. Everybody had to give that 10%. Read on.
Verse 29. "Out of all your gifts ye shall offer every heave offering of the Lord, of all the best thereof."
Of all the what?
Best thereof.
So when you give the Most High the 10th, you got to be thinking, okay, now I'm not going to skim off with the remainder of my bill money. I'm not going to look at after I pay all my bills and I get everything paid, and I make sure that I'm taken care of. I make sure my water paid, my lights paid, my rent paid, my daycare paid, my gas. And then at whatever I got left, the little change I got left, the little crumbs I got left, I'll give the Most High the crumbs. That's really not establishing a relationship with the Father. When you're giving the Most High the crumbs of what you got. We got to start developing enough faith in the Most High to give Him the best of what we got. The best of what we got is the first of what we got. Whatever I get out of my check or my resources, my income, let me take 1/10 of that off the top. The Most High is going to get His first. We got to start training ourselves to think that way. The Most High has to get his first. Then, what I have left over, I'll let that be bills, or I'll let that be water or electricity, or I'll let that be whatever it is that I got that I'm responsible for. But do I got enough faith to give the Most High his 10th from the jump, from the top, right off the top? Because that's what the Most High is demanding of these Levites, which are the leaders of the people that do the service of the temple. You got to give the Most High the best of what you receive from the people. Read on.
Of all the best thereof, even the hallowed part thereof out of it.
The sacred part. Go ahead.
Therefore thou shalt say unto them, when ye shall heave the best thereof from it, then it shall be counted unto the Levites as the increase of the threshing floor, and as the increase of the winepress. And ye shall eat it in every place, and ye your households, for it is your reward, for your service in the tabernacle of the congregation. And ye shall bear no sin by reason of it, when ye have heaved from it the best of it. Neither shall ye pollute the holy things of the children of Israel, lest ye die.
And this is a message to those who falsely use the tithe money. This is a warning to those that take tithe money and misappropriate it. This is a direct commandment against misappropriating what you're supposed to be giving to the body, to the leaders of the people. And they're not supposed to be taking this tithes and just frivolously using it. They have a responsibility to it and to the people to do right with it. And too many times you find pastors in the business of preaching for the sake of just the profits that they make off of the sufferings of people. And that's why a lot of people don't even want to go to church. That's why a lot of times people don't even want to believe in the Most High. They see it as a scam. They see the belief in the Most High as a scam. I'm getting suckered because I only see the pastor coming up. I only see the house, the mansions, the planes, the jets, the boats, the crops, the farm, the horses, the ranch. But I don't see the people benefiting. But he's showing you that there is a responsibility that the Levites, the ones that do the service of the Most High, they have a responsibility to do right with the tithe money. They can't abuse it. They're held accountable for it. So we're looking at the laws of tithes and the responsibility held with those tithes. So now let's go to Malachi chapter 3 verse 7.
Malachi chapter 3 verse 7 reads, even from the days of your fathers ye are gone away from my ordinance.
So now, because we live in a time where there is a lot of fake pastors and false prophets and churches that abuse the people monetarily. Sometimes we've gotten away from even wanting to give a tithe. We've gotten away. We try to pick and choose, man. I really don't trust what they're going to do with the money. But you know what the Most High is using it for? The Most High is using it as a signet for your relationship with Him, as a way of thanksgiving for what He's done for you. So the tithe is still necessary because the Most High is using it as a significant point to see, do you have faith in Him or not? Do you believe in Him or not? Read.
Malachi chapter 3 and verse 7 reads from the top, even from the days of your fathers ye are gone away from my ordinance, and have not kept them. Return unto me.
So the Most High said, return unto me. Go ahead.
Return unto me, and I will return unto you.
So the Most High said, return unto me, and I'll return unto you. So now the big question is, how do we return back to the Most High? And how will the Most High return back to us? Read on.
Saith the Lord of hosts, but ye say, wherein shall we return?
So the question is, how should we get back to the Father? How can you regain a relationship with the Most High? How can you restore or reconcile your relationship with the Father? What does the Most High use for your reconciliation and your restoration of His relationship? What does He use? Read.
Will a man rob the Most High?
It said, will a man do what?
rob the Most High?
Will a man do what?
Rob the Most High.
Will a man rob the Most High? Now that might seem far-fetched, and that may seem inconceivable, and that may seem impossible. That don't even sound right. How can I rob the Most High, who's invincible and dwelleth in heaven? How can I rob him? Well, let's find out. Read.
Yet ye have robbed me. But ye say, wherein have we robbed thee?
But that's the question that we ask. How did I rob the Most High? I haven't done anything for the Most High. I ain't did nothing to the Most High. How did I harm the Most High? It's impossible. Read on.
In tithes and offerings.
And how do we rob the Most High?
In tithes and offerings.
How do we rob the Most High?
In tithes and offerings.
We rob the Most High in tithes and offerings. Because we don't want to give the Most High what's due to him. Because by giving the tithe, I'm showing thankfulness. I'm showing thanksgiving. I'm showing appreciation. I'm showing recognition of where my blessing is coming from. I can recognize where my blessing is coming from. That's all the Most High wanted from you anyway. Can you recognize that I've been there with you the whole time? Can you recognize and appreciate what I've been doing for you the whole time? If you can, then you'll give tithes and offerings. If you don't, then you won't. And that's all the Most High's been waiting on us for the longest time, is recognition and appreciation. Two things the Most High sees by you giving tithes. That's you saying, man, I believe in the Most High, and I believe that He exists. I believe that He's real, and I believe He's been taking care of me. I can recognize the Most High. And the tenth is the 10%. It's just appreciating the Most High even giving this to me to survive. So it's nothing for me to give back the Most High's 10%. That's all He ever wanted, was just recognition and appreciation. That's all that the tithes represented. How do we know this? Go to Deuteronomy. Go to Deuteronomy chapter 26 and read verse 1.
26 and 1.
Mm-hmm.
Deuteronomy chapter 26 and verse 1. And it shall be, when thou art come in unto the land which the Most High thy power giveth thee.
Now listen to what he's saying. He says, and it shall be. Read that part again.
Verse 26. Chapter 26, verse 1. And it shall be, when thou art come in unto the land which the Lord thy power giveth thee for an inheritance, and possesseth it, and dwelleth therein.
So he says, when you get the land that the Most High promised, and you inherit it, just like He promised, and you possess it, just like He promised, He kept His end of the bargain. He established you, just like He said He would. When you were doubting, when you were uncertain and unsure, when the Most High took care of you and rooted you and established you. Read on.
Verse 2. That thou shalt take of the first of all the fruit of the earth, which thou shalt bring of thy land, that the Lord thy power giveth thee, and shalt put it in a basket.
He says you're going to take the first fruit. The first fruit is that 10th. The best of what the Most High has given you off the top. He says you go put it in a basket. Go ahead.
And shalt go unto the place which the Lord thy power shall choose to place His name there.
Go ahead.
And thou shalt go unto the priest that shall be in those days.
And you're supposed to take the basket to the priest. Go ahead.
And say unto him, I profess this day.
Hold on. What does that sound like?
Wow.
Sounds like a vow. But you know what you're doing? You're acknowledging out of your mouth that the Most High is taking care of you. When He says, I profess this day that what?
I profess this day unto the Most High thy power, that I am come unto the country which the Most High sware unto our fathers.
Now what does that mean? Can anybody break this down?
So
Come into the land that the Most High promised us to dwell in.
Yep.
And to inherit.
What does that mean then?
He kept His promise.
Bingo. Stop right there. Say it again.
He kept His promise.
What does this mean? What are you saying out your mouth when you bring your tithe to the Most High?
He
The Most High kept his promise.
The Most High kept his promise. You're confirming, when you bring your tithes and your offerings to the Most High, you're acknowledging that the Most High is not a liar. You're acknowledging the Most High that he exists. And you're acknowledging that the Most High keeps his word. You're saying it out of your own mouth. Man, the Most High did exactly what he said he was going to do. He took care of me. All the Most High wants you to do is recognize where your blessing's coming from and who's been taking care of you the whole time. That's all the Most High been waiting on anyway. That's why it's in the scriptures where it's demanded that you take the tithe and you got to go to the priest and stand before the Most High and you got to say it out of your mouth. The Most High don't want to hear from you. Can you say that the Most High kept his word? Or are you going to call the Most High a liar? That's all the Most High has been looking for, is that recognition and that confirmation that the Most High does keep his promises. He does validate his word. The Most High backs it up with action. The Most High don't make no empty promises. The Most High don't be just trying to get you to do something that's in vain or fruitless. If you give the Most High a chance to serve the Most, if you give the Most High an opportunity for him to be your power, if you put your trust in him, he'll take care of you. That's the beginning of the relationship being built. But you know what the Most High wants to see? Can you say it out of your mouth that the Most High keeps his word? That's why you got to go before the priest with your basket and profess out of your mouth that what?
I profess this day unto the Most High thy power, that I am come unto the country which the Most High sware unto our fathers for to give us.
So you're making it a point to confirm that the Most High is real. The Most High keeps his word. Read on.
Verse 4. And the priest shall take the basket out of thine hand, and set it down before the altar of the Most High thy power. And thou shalt speak and say before the Most High thy power, Assyrian ready to perish was my father.
Go ahead. He said, I came from forefathers that were in trouble, ready to die, was my father. Go ahead. Abraham. Go ahead.
And he went down into Egypt, and sojourned there with a few, and became there a nation, great, mighty, and populous. And the Egyptians evil entreated us, and afflicted us, and laid upon us hard bondage. And when we cried unto the Most High, our power of our fathers, the Most High heard our voice, and looked on our affliction, and our labor, and our oppression.
Why is the Most High demanding that you speak this in front of the priest and before the altar? Because the Most High just wants to see, can you recognize where he's taking you from and what he's pulled you out of? Can you recognize your beginning? How if it wasn't for the Most High, you really wouldn't be nowhere? You'll be in a bad situation. You wouldn't be nearly as prosperous as you are if it wasn't for the Most High. Look at the origin of your beginning. Why is the Most High having us to profess this out of our mouth? Because we're forgetful. He said in the time of prosperity, there's a what? There's a forgetfulness of affliction. See, we have a short-term memory with the Most High. We forget about where he's taking us from. This is why it's demanded that you go say this in front of the priest before the altar. Because all the Most High want you to do is recognize that he's real. That he's taking you out of oppression. Read on.
And the Most High brought us forth out of Egypt with a mighty hand, and with an outstretched arm, and with great terribleness, and with signs, and with wonders. And he has brought us into this place, and have given us this land, even a land that floweth with milk and honey.
Go ahead.
And now, behold, I have brought the first fruits of the land.
And because the Most High kept his word, and he made his promise, he established his word. Now I got to do my part. The tithes, that 10%, is just you doing your part. Because you're acknowledging that the Most High has been taking care of you. Now you got to do your side of the bargain. You've already professed it. Now you got to do it. You got to perform it. Go ahead.
And now, behold, I have brought the first fruits of the land, which thou, O Lord, hast given me. And thou shalt set it before the Lord thy power, and worship before the Lord thy power.
And you and because now the bond between you and the Most High is restored. You're feeding this relationship between you and the Most High by giving those tithes. And the Most High will always take care of you the more you do it. The more you got the faith to keep giving the Most High what He asks of you, what He demands of you, His tithes and offering, the more the Most High is going to be there for you when you need Him. Now you're gaining this relationship with the Father. See, but if you can't even give tithes, then the Most High said, "You robbing me. You robbing me in tithes and offering." But also you robbing yourself of an opportunity to have a relationship with the Most High. That's really what you gain to lose. You fair to lose that relationship opportunity, because that's what it is when you give tithes. It's an opportunity. He said, when the Most High does keep His word and you can recognize it, and you give the Most High His tenth, then He says, the Most High, it says, "And thou shalt rejoice in" what?
"And thou shalt rejoice in every good thing which the Most High thy power hath given unto thee, and unto thine house, thou and the Levite, and the stranger that is among you."
So obviously the Most High is wanting something from us. He's wanting that recognition, and He wants that appreciation. And He wants that recognition and appreciation backed by an offering, backed by a tithe, backed by your 10%. It's not hard to understand. Anybody confused?
It's an investment.
It's an investment. That's a great word. It's an investment in my relationship. Yes, sir.
Buy the truth, sell it not.
Buy the truth, sell it not.
Good.
You're telling. Technically, you are buying the truth and not selling it, because that's an investment. To buy it means to invest. Yes, sir.
And it's also when we offer our tithes and offering to the Most High, it is another sign of us acknowledging Him as well. We also acknowledge who He is, and how, for us to acknowledge the fact that He was the one who created everything in the first place, and everything does belong to Him, and we should be able to acknowledge that. And like how you said, like, we're just renters. We could be renting a place like He's the landlord. We have to give what's given unto Him.
And to prove that, I like what you said. To prove that, go to Proverbs chapter 3, verse 9. Somebody read Proverbs chapter 3, verse 9 to prove what Kariah said. But that's a great point, though.
Proverbs chapter 3, verse 9. Honor the Lord with thy substance.
It says, do what?
Honor the Lord with thy substance.
Somebody give us the definition of substance. What is your substance? It said, honor the Lord with thy substance. What is your substance?
Page 924. Page 924.
To make it even more simpler.
Substance, the essential part, the main or material part.
I got material possessions, property.
It says material possessions or what?
Property.
It says material. Honor the Most High with your substance. That could be your material possessions or your what?
Property.
Or your property. It's what you own. It's what you possess. It's something that you have in your possession. So read that again in Proverbs.
Proverbs chapter 3, verse 9. Honor the Lord with thy substance.
It says honor the Most High with your property or your land or your whatever it is you got. You can give it. You can give that to the Most High. He said honor the Lord with your substance. What is it that you have in your possession that you can give a tenth of to show appreciation and thankfulness to the Most High? Read on.
And with the first fruits of all thine increase.
Go ahead.
Verse 10. So shall thy barns be filled with plenty.
Stop right there. He says, if you can honor the Most High with your substance, he says, so shall your what?
So shall thy barns be filled with plenty.
The Most High said He'll take care of you even more. See, a lot of times our bank accounts don't. The barn is your storehouse. That's where you store goods at. That's where you store your crops at, your hay, your feed. He said, so thy barn shall be filled with what?
With plenty.
A lot of times we don't realize why our damn bank account be so small. Why is our bank account limited? Why are we looking at like, I got $20 left, I got $10 left, I got 50 left, I got to make this dollar stretch till next week.
I'm negative.
I'm negative.
Really negative.
Right? Why is that, man? You know why? Because go ahead.
Got definition of shall in the second and third person. Shall implies a promise, command, or determination.
It said a promise or command. The Most High said, I promise or I command that thy barns shall be what?
Filled with plenty.
Shall be filled with plenty. Go ahead.
And thy presses shall burst out with new wine.
And the wine press shall burst out with what?
With new wine.
So the Most High said that He'll keep things new. Meaning the Most High is showing that wine. He'll mean it representing influence. He'll keep being your main source of influence. He'll keep coming through for you. You can depend on Him.
Keep refreshing us.
Keep refreshing us. He'll be my main source of influence. The Most High will keep coming through for me.
Come.
I can depend on Him. But it's all based upon how I honor the Most High with my substance. See, that's what Christ is looking at. When you go to Luke chapter 21, somebody read Luke chapter 21 verse 1 through 4. Luke chapter 21 verse 1 through 4.
Luke chapter 21 verse 1. And he looked up and saw the rich men casting their gifts into the treasury.
Let everybody get it. Luke chapter 21 verse 1. Read that.
Luke chapter 21 verse 1. And he looked up and saw the rich men casting their gifts into the treasury.
Now this is Christ sitting next to the treasury. And as Christ was sitting next to the treasury, He was looking at how people give. He was analyzing people that belong in the church and the synagogue. He was examining how they give their tithes and their offerings to the Most High. He was looking at who was giving what. This was Christ sitting next to the treasury. Go ahead.
And he saw also a certain poor widow casting in thither 2 mites.
He said he saw the rich men casting their gifts into the treasury, and he also saw a certain poor widow casting in thither 2 mites. Now, a mite is a quarter of a penny. In today's value, it's about a quarter of a penny. So a mite is not even a full penny. 2 mites equals about a half a penny. That's how much this woman was given to the treasury. Was a half of a penny in today's value. Read.
And he said, Of a truth I say unto you, that this poor widow hath cast in more than they all.
Christ said, this poor woman, this poor widow without no husband, has given more with this half a penny than all the rich men that cast their gifts into the treasury. Why is that? Why is this woman's very small denomination worth more to the Most High than these rich men and their gifts? Read on.
Verse 4. For all these have of their abundance.
They're not giving. They're giving the extra of what they have. They give the extra. Meaning they give the leftovers. They got it to give. They got it to lose. It doesn't bother them to give it because they have it to give. What's $1 million to Jeff Bezos?
It's nothing.
Nothing. It's not even it's nothing to him. It's charity. They have it to give. Read on.
Cast in unto the offerings of the Most High. But she of her penury.
Penury means scarcity. See, when you're not afraid to give the Most High the little that you do get, the Most High says that offering is worth more to Him than somebody that has a lot of money and choose to give, but they're not putting themselves in any danger. They're not putting themselves in any predicament. Not saying the Most High is wanting you to be in danger or a predicament, but what He's looking at is, are you afraid to give? That's what he's looking at. Do you fear giving to the Most High? See, this woman, her offering was more valuable because she wasn't afraid to give. And it says her penury means scarcity, meaning it's a very small amount. Go ahead.
But she of her penury hath cast in all the living that she had.
This woman cast in what?
All the living that she had.
She wasn't afraid to give the even down to the smallest amount of money that she had left. She needed them. She needed those 2 mites.
Yeah.
She could have used those 2 mites. That half a penny. It wasn't going to do much, but she still could have did something with it. But she wasn't afraid to give it. And a lot of times that separates people. A lot of us are afraid to give to the Most High. Even 10%. There's some type of anxiety that we get when it's time to give the Most High what's due to Him. There's some type of unsettledness. I don't know if I'm gonna make it. I start panicking. When we don't even realize what it is that you're gaining. What you're gaining in return is a relationship. And that's why it says in Malachi chapter 3 verse 8. Now read that. Let that go. Yeshua, you let it go.
Malachi chapter 3 and verse 8 reads, Will a man rob the Most High? Yet ye have robbed me. But ye say, Wherein have we robbed thee? In tithes and offerings.
Go ahead.
Ye are cursed with a curse.
So what does the Most High do when you're afraid to give?
Curse. With a curse.
So the Most High curses you. He cursed your situation. Because of what?
For ye have robbed me.
Because we do what?
Robbed me.
And how do we rob the Most High?
In tithes and offerings.
Because we're scared to give the Most High his 10%. So when we had an opportunity to make our situation even better, the Most High was just using the tithe as just a way and a means of getting back to Him, restoring the relationship with Him. That's your way of getting back to the Father. Yes, sir.
It could also be like say you don't have.
You gotta speak up because I want them to hear you too.
Camera.
Say you don't have it to give, but you give. That also opens a window for you to trust in the Most High for Him to come through to bless you.
You know, all He's asking for is 10%. Well, of whatever it is that you do have. If you got a little, then 10% of the little. All He's asking for is 10%. But even sometimes 10% is difficult when the smaller the denomination that we possess. He's not asking for 20, 30, 40, 50%. The Most High is only asking for 10%. He said that's all it takes to restore this relationship back with Him. He's only asking for 10%. He's not asking for you to drop everything. But if you look at what the poor widow did at the treasury, she didn't have that fear. And that means a lot to the Most High. Because what you're doing is, yes, you're taking a chance. Even if that 10% seems like a risk. But it's a risk for a greater reward. That 10% seems like, man, that might break me. That 10% might do me in. I might go under with 10%. But that's a risk we take. We'll scratch a lottery ticket. We'll put some money on Bitcoin. So we don't have a problem taking risks when it's something that we want. But how come we can't just take that risk when it's time to serve the Most High? Read on in that. But I like the question that you asked, because read on and that's going to answer that question in what we read.
Malachi chapter 3 in verse 9 reads, Ye are cursed with a curse, for ye have robbed me.
Go ahead.
Even this whole nation.
Even this whole nation. Go ahead.
Bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse, that there may be meat in mine house. Improve me now herewith.
And so he says, and prove me now that herewith. The Most High is telling you, why don't you put me to the test? If you don't believe in me, why don't you put me to the test? Because wasn't that what Abram did? Wasn't that what Jacob did? When Jacob wasn't sure if he was going to make it back home to his family? He said, if you bless me, you be with me, you give me food, you give me clothes, and you bring me back to my Father's house, I'll serve you. You will be my power. That's all. All the Most High is saying is, if you don't have enough faith to give tithes, then why don't you put them to the test?
Put your money where your mouth is.
Not necessarily.
Not like that.
Not like that.
Not in a sense.
Not. You know what the problem is? I don't believe. That's the problem. I don't really have faith in the Most High. The Most High is asking you, why don't you have faith in Him? If you don't believe Him enough to give 10%, why don't you put Him to the test so you can find out? If the Most High is really a rewarder of them that diligently seek Him. If the Most High is real. A lot of times also we're scared. Because what happens now if the Most High shows me that He's real and He kept His promise to me?
I hope so.
Huh? What happens then? I'm on the hook.
No, it stops.
Now I'm on the hook. Because now when I know that the Most High is real, and I'll be like, man, now I got to serve Him. So a lot of times we're afraid because we don't want to be put on the hook. We don't even want to know if the Most High is really real. Sometimes that we run from that too. we run from knowing that the Most High is really real. That's scary to some people. Because when you know that the Most High is real, you can't sleep good. And you can't do bad because you know the Most High watching you. You know the Most High, because He's already exposed Himself to you. He's already revealed Himself to you. So a lot of times those fears also be looming over our head. I want to believe in the Most High, but I don't want to know Him too well because I might be scared of what He puts me through. Or I might be scared of what I might have to lose to serve Him. Sometimes we be scared, but we rather not know. Ignorance is bliss. But you know what the Most High said? If you don't establish a relationship with Him, He said you're cursed with a curse. He's going to curse you anyway. Because you didn't want to take no chances. You didn't want to put Him to the test. That's why it says, prove me herewith. Go ahead.
Prove me now herewith, said the Lord of hosts, if I will not open you the windows of heaven.
Why don't you put the Most High to the test? Give the little 10%. And the Most High said in return, He said, I'll open up the windows of what?
Of heaven.
Read on.
And pour you out a blessing, that there shall not be room enough to receive it.
He says, and I'll overpay. I'll overbless. I'll overshower you in abundance. Well, you know what the Most High He's doing? He's waiting for a relationship. He's just waiting for us to have the faith enough to start the relationship. And what starts the relationship? These vows, these tithes, these offerings. These tithes and offerings, they begin the relationship with the Most High. That's how we start. We do things in faith. When I give this 10%, I'm going to do it in faith. In the belief and the hope that the Most High is watching me. I don't have to sound the trumpet. I don't have to blow a trumpet and say, look at me, look what I give to the church.
I gave something.
You know, because some churches got the board where all the members got the names of the ones that's giving the most. This family gave this amount of money. This family give this amount of money. This family give this amount of money. You ain't got to put that on no board. This between you and the Most High. Did you have enough faith to give the Most High 10%? He said if you do, He said He'll pour out a blessing that out of your windows, the windows of heaven will open up. He says, and you shall receive a blessing that you should not be able to bear. Look at what the Most High is waiting for us to do. That's all. He's waiting on us. See, there's benefits and there's purposes, multiple purposes for these tithes. These tithes and these offerings serve many purposes. And they have value that we don't even realize how valuable they are. We don't even realize the power behind these tithes and offerings and what they really do. We don't know the value of it. We don't know the value of faith. We don't know the value of hope. We don't know the full value of it. That's why we're afraid to give. See, but once you know the value of faith and what faith can do, then you will not hesitate to perform whatever it is that the Most High is asking from you. Once you see the value of it. For example, give me Hebrews 11:7.
Hebrews chapter 11, verse 7 reads, by faith, Noah, being warned of the Most High of things not seen as yet.
When Noah was alive, the Most High fed the earth with dew. It had not rained yet. Man hadn't seen rain on the earth. The morning dew fed the earth. So Noah didn't even know, mankind didn't know what a deluge or a storm or a hurricane was. He says, by faith, Noah being warned of things what?
Of things not seen as yet.
Well, rain had never happened. They never seen rain. He ain't never seen what a storm looked like. But all Noah was told was that go get this wood, this gopher wood, and go get this pitch and build an ark with these dimensions. 50 by 50 or whatever the dimensions were. I don't know off the top of my head. Go build an ark with these dimensions using this wood and using this material. That's all that Noah was told. He said, but he went to work how? In faith. It says by faith, what? Go ahead.
By faith, Noah, being one of the Most High of things not seen as yet.
Go ahead.
Moved with fear.
So did he have to? No, Lord, I'll wait till you show me this rain, and then I'll build an ark. I'll wait till the rain first, then I'll get busy.
Yeah.
That's how we operate. The Jews require a sign. We need to see it first in order to believe it. That's not how the Most High operates. See, Noah believed that the Most High was going to bring this storm down and this deluge down, this flood. He believed it. Read on.
Move with fear.
Go ahead.
Prepared an ark.
And what did he do?
Prepared an ark.
Go ahead.
To the saving of his house.
And what did his faith? What was the value of his faith?
Prepared an ark to the saving of his house.
What was the value of his hope?
Prepared an ark to the saving of his house.
No. What is the value of his faith?
The saving of his house.
That's the value of his faith. He saved his whole family. That's why I said people don't realize the value of what is the value of faith. People don't recognize the value of faith. They don't recognize the value of hope and how powerful faith is and how powerful hope is. People don't know. That's why you got to read it in the Bible to understand how powerful it is. See, you don't know the value of what it means of how the Most High look at your 10% and your tithes and offerings. You don't even know what it means to the Most High. And you don't even know what benefit it may play towards your life in the future. You don't know the impact that faith is going to have on your life. But you got to have it. Imagine if Noah didn't believe the Most High when he told him build this ark. It would be 9 dead individuals. Actually 8. Noah, his 3 sons, his wife, and his 3 sons' wives.
And the animals.
And them animals would have been dead. See, you don't know the value of what it means to have faith and to do things in faith. All you're being asked to do is just give that 10%. Give that tithe. You don't know what it's going to do for you later. The Most High just said, put me to the test. Why don't you prove me? Why don't you test me? Why don't you try the Most High out and start giving the Most High his 10%? Give the Most High a chance to show you that he's with you. Because that's what Jacob did. Back to Deuteronomy 26. Deuteronomy chapter 26, verse 12.
Deuteronomy chapter 26 and verse 12. When you're ready, sir.
Read that.
Deuteronomy chapter 26 and verse 12 reads, when thou hast made an end of tithing all the tithes of thine increase the 3rd year, which is the year of tithing, and has given it unto the Levite, the stranger, the fatherless, and the widow.
Hold on.
Page 318.
And what are you doing with this tithe? The tithes have multiple purposes.
Mhm.
It establishes a relationship with the Most High in faith, but also what is another purpose of this tithe?
The Levites, the stranger, the fatherless, and the widow.
It's supposed to benefit who?
The widow.
The widow.
Your tithes are supposed to benefit people in need. So your tithes have benefits and they have purposes that go beyond you just supposed to be giving it to the church. They're supposed to benefit people. They're supposed to benefit the Levites. Who else?
The stranger, the fatherless, and the widow.
Go ahead.
That they may eat within thy gates and be filled.
See, the tithes got multiple purposes. They got multiple benefits. Go ahead.
Verse 13. Then thou shalt say before the Most High thy power, I have brought away the hallowed things out of mine house.
It says, and you're supposed to make another proclamation. You're supposed to profess also that what? The Most High want to hear he wants you to say it. The Most High wants you to profess it. That what?
I have brought away the hallowed things out of mine house.
The hallowed things is the 10%. The Most High want to hear that you say that you gave your 10%. Because you know you're accountable. You're responsible for that. Read on.
And also have given them unto the Levite and unto the stranger, to the fatherless and to the widow, according to all thy commandments which thou hast commanded me.
Go ahead.
I have not transgressed thy commandments, neither have I forgotten them.
He says, neither have I forgotten them. So the Most High don't want you to forget his commandments. The commandments for the tithes, they have a benefit to other people. Other people are dependent upon those tithes. The fatherless, the widow, the stranger, the Levites, they need that. They depend on that. So it goes beyond just you. Right? Proverbs 21:13.
Proverbs chapter 21 and verse 13.
And you know what? When you tell the Most High, I profess and I say unto you, I brought away the hallowed things out of my house, and I have given them to the Levites, to the stranger, to the fatherless. That's you keeping your word. The Most High want to know if you keeping your promise. Or do you keep your word? When the Most High blesses you, do you keep your promise? Proverbs 21:13.
Proverbs chapter 21 and verse 13 reads, Whoso stoppeth his ears at the cry of the poor, he also shall cry himself.
What does that mean? If I don't have the faith to give these tithes, which benefit other people in need, the Most High said, because I don't want to hear the cries of these people, I shall cry myself. So because I didn't have enough faith to give to help restore somebody out of their situation, the Most High gonna put me in the same situation where I'm crying, where I'm in a position of need. See, tithes have a benefit, and they play a major role in saving other people out of their condition. They serve a purpose. Read out. Matter of fact, go to Deuteronomy chapter 15, verse 7. Somebody else read that. Deuteronomy chapter 15, verse 7. These are the benefits of tithes. They're supposed to benefit your people. Tithes benefit the people around you in need. Read that.
Come. Deuteronomy chapter 15, verse 7 reads,
Page 302.
If there be among you a poor man of one of thy brethren within any of thy gates, in thy land which the Lord thy power giveth thee, thou shalt not harden thine heart.
He says, thou shalt not harden thy heart. Go ahead.
Nor shut thine hand from thy poor brother.
He said, don't close your hand from your poor brother. Go ahead.
But thou shalt open thine hand wide unto him.
He said, thou shalt open thy hand how?
Wide unto him, and shalt surely lend him sufficient for his need, in that which he wanteth. Beware.
Jump down to verse 10.
Verse 10. Thou shalt surely give him, and thine heart shall not be grieved when thou givest unto him.
You shouldn't be grieved at giving, because especially when you give tithes that go to the benefit of strangers and poor widows and people in need, it shouldn't bother you to give. If you know that's where the tithes are going, why does it bother you so much? Even if you don't know where the tithes are going, it's still a relationship you got between you and the Most High. But the tithes are supposed to be transcended down to the people in need, transferred down to them. It shouldn't bother me to give tithes. Go ahead. Or offerings.
Because that, for this thing, the Lord thy power shall bless thee in all thy works.
And if you're not afraid to give, especially when you see people have a need around you, he says the Most High will bless you in all your works. Everything that you do, everything you touch, he will bless it. Because you have that kind of faith to look out for the people around you. Because that's what the tide's supposed to do. The Most High brings a blessing to everything you perform, everything you touch, all the work of your hands. Everything that you put work to do, put work in to do, the Most High bestow more abundant blessings on top of it. Take that for having faith. Take that for believing. Receive that for having hope. Receive this blessing for looking out for the people around you. Take this blessing for not being afraid to give when people need. See, we don't know the value of tithes and offerings. They benefit other people, but they also benefit us on the back end. Read on.
Come. And in all that thou puttest thy hand unto, for the poor shall never cease out of the land.
Right. It says there's always going to be an opportunity to do right for people. You'll never run out of a chance to do right or to do good. There's always a chance to have faith in the Most High, to serve the Most High in faith. And how we do that? We look out for our people. And that's where the tithes and offerings go to. But in return, we get blessed on the end. Go to Tobit to prove that. Go to Tobit chapter 12 verse 8. To prove that the Most High will look after you for looking out for his body and for his church. And somebody else read Acts chapter 4 and read verse 31 on down.
You want Tobit first?
Yep, Tobit and the Apocrypha. Tobit is in the Apocrypha. If you got the red Apocrypha, tell them what page it's on. I think that might be a little different.
38.
Yeah, that book is a little different. Read that.
Yeah, Tobit 12 verse 3.
Verse 8.
12 verse 8. That's page 41.
Yeah, same thing.
Okay,
Same thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Tobit, chapter 12, verse 8. Prayer is good with fasting, and alms, and righteousness. A little with righteousness is better than much with unrighteousness.
Go ahead.
It is better to give alms than to lay up gold.
See, we think that, you know what, I got to be careful, I got to save money, I got to look out for me, because, you know, economy's going, the economy's unpredictable. I don't know how the job market's looking right now. I don't have enough faith to, you know, give my 10% and give my offerings and look out for other people. I got to worry about me right now. I got to take care of me right now. I got to make sure I'm taken care of. A lot of times that nature wants to jump on us. That fear or that panic or that unsurety of how things are going to turn out, that normally wants to jump on us and make us afraid to give. Read on.
Verse 9. For alms doth deliver from death.
But the Most High checks your alms account, your offerings account. He checks your account of what you've been giving, how you've been a safety measure or a surety for the people around you. How have you been helping out the people that need around you? He checks that to see if you deserve to be taken out of a situation where you're in danger. See, what you're doing when you give alms, you're paying your own safety forward. You're paying your own livelihood forward. You're paying your own survival forward. You don't even know it. You don't even realize that what you've been doing for this entire time by giving tithes and offerings and alms is you've been actually storing up an account, a storehouse in heaven where the Most High will determine whether you should be pulled out of death, whether you should be pulled out of danger. And a lot of times we don't realize how often death be right around the corner. But because the Most High says, you know what, let me check this person's alms account. Let me check this person's offerings. Let me see if they've been robbing me. You know what? They ain't been robbing me. They've been giving. They've been taking care of the poor. They've been taking care of the widow. They've been taking care of the people in need. Let me go ahead and come through for them and be their safety. It says, for alms delivered from what?
Death. For alms delivered from death.
So you don't even realize that by paying tithes and doing the good deeds that's necessary to show the Most High that you believe in Him, you're actually relegating your own survival. Read on.
And shall purge away all sin.
And not only that, your survival depends upon it. But not only that, the Most High is using your tithes and alms and sacrifices as a method to say, I'm going to let this person slide from their sins. See, we don't even know how valuable these things are. These tithes and offerings, man, they're powerful. They say the fact that Noah had faith saved his whole household. The fact that if I have enough faith to give what the Most High requires of me, a little 10%, and look out for the people around me, I really don't realize how valuable it is. My sins are allowed to be purged away. And it delivers me from death. Read on.
Those that exercise alms and righteousness.
It says those that exercise what?
Alms and righteousness.
Read on.
Shall be filled with life.
It says those that exercise alms and righteousness shall be filled with life. Go ahead.
Verse 10. But they that sin are enemies to their own life.
But if I refuse to give, I refuse to trust the Most High, I refuse to extend myself to people in need around me because I'm afraid that I'm going to lose. He says, but they that sin are what?
They that sin are enemies to their own life.
I'm an enemy to my own life because I didn't know the value of alms. I didn't know the value of offerings. I didn't know the value of tithes. I didn't know the value of it. It's powerful. You can't sleep on the value of what the Most High asks from you. And what He asks of you, you can't sleep on the value. You can't minimize and say, oh, the Most High knows my heart. He knows I don't get paid too much. He knows my situation. Oh, the Most High. I can't downplay what the Most High finds valuable. That's life-saving. That's life-saving and sin-forgiving. How can I downplay what the Most High finds so valuable and what I need in my life? We can't sleep. We don't really go over tithes a lot in class. We don't. Y'all ever heard one? You ever heard a tithes class? An explanation of what tithes and the value of it? Not really.
Kind of 3 years ago.
Yeah, 3 years ago. We don't really
deep.
go over tithes and the fact that you should be giving, but you should see the power in it. Your life depends on it. Tobit chapter 4. Stay in Tobit chapter 12, right? Go back to Tobit chapter 4 and read verse 7.
Tobit chapter 4 verse 7. Page 37. Remember, my son, that she saw many dangers for thee.
Go ahead.
When thou wast in her womb.
No, you in Tobit chapter 4 verse 7?
It's a little bit down. That's
here. Tobit chapter 4 verse 7. Give alms of thy substance.
Right. It says give alms of what?
Thy substance.
We just read in Proverbs chapter 3 that you're supposed to honor the Most High with your substance. It's your personal possessions. It's what you have, that your increase. It said give alms to thy substance. Go ahead.
And when thou givest alms, let not thine eye be envious.
Don't worry about who giving it, who you give it to, or who may have more than you. Just give it because the Most High demands it. Read on.
Turn thy face away from any poor, and the face of the Most High shall not be.
It says neither turn thy face from any poor. Go ahead.
Neither turn thy face from any poor, and the face of the Most High shall not be turned away from thee.
See, if you want the Most High to always be looking at you, if you want the Most High's attention at all times, keep giving what He asks for. Keep looking out for the people around you. Keep giving the tithes and offerings that he's asking for. And the Most High you will always gain the Most High's attention. The Most High will always be there to support you, to restore you, and to save you out of trouble. You always have the Most High on your side. Read on.
Verse 8. If thou hast abundance, give alms accordingly.
If you got a lot, then give alms what?
Accordingly.
Accordingly. Then don't be afraid. Just because you got a lot, you still give that 10%. If you got more to give more. Read on.
If thou hast but a little,
But if you only got a little bit to make it through the month, the check wasn't as big as you thought it was. The money didn't come through like your boss said. You were missing some hours. Or you thought it was going to be a bonus, or whatever the case may be. But if you have a little, read on.
be not afraid.
Be not what?
Be not afraid.
What happens when people don't have a lot of money to give, a lot of substance to give? Fear. He said, be not afraid what?
To give according to that little.
And that little was just 10%. He ain't asked for everything. Just 10%. Read on.
For thou layest up a good treasure for thyself against the day of necessity.
And because by you paying these alms, paying forth and serving the Most High out of your substance, honoring the Most High out of your substance, the Most High said that when you have a need, He's going to check how you've been a succor, and a safety for the people around you. How have you taken care of the needy around you to determine if He should pull you out of your situation? He's looking at it. They deliver from death. They forgive your sins. And they also build you up when you need. Read on.
Verse 10. Because that alms do deliver from death, and suffer not to come into darkness. For alms is a good gift unto all that give in the sight of the Most High.
So he said it's a good gift unto all that give in the sight of the Most High. The Most High looks at your alms. He looks at your charities. He looks at your tithes, your offerings. This is how a church is supposed to be. Last verse. Let's go to Acts chapter 4, verse 31.
Acts chapter 4.
Acts chapter 4
Yep, verse 31.
and verse 31. Acts chapter 4 and verse 31.
Come.
Go ahead.
And when they had prayed, the place was shaken where they were assembled together.
Go ahead.
And they were all filled with the Holy
It
Spirit.
said they were all filled with what?
The Holy Spirit.
And why did the Most High say they were filled with the Holy Spirit? Let's find out. Go ahead.
And they spake the word of our power with boldness.
Go ahead.
And the multitude of them that believed were of one heart.
It says, and the multitude of them that believe was with what?
Of one heart.
See, when everybody has this mentality of looking out for each other, of giving to each other, of taking care of each other, he says this is when we're operating in the spirit of the Most High. When everybody has this mentality of giving, looking out for each other. Now you're operating in the spirit. When you have the capacity to look out for the people around you. Read on.
And of one soul.
Go ahead.
Neither said any of them that aught of the things which he possessed was his own.
It says, neither did any one of them in that church believe that the things that I possess, my substance, belong to me.
So it kills that selfish spirit, that selfish mentality.
Yep.
So there's a selfish nature and a selfish that spirit starts to jump on different people.
Yep.
Jumps on everybody.
That it jumps on a lot of people, but also the Most High's presence can't be there if everybody's not in this mentality. The scriptures say it's not meant that some be eased and ye burdened. It's not meant that some people are doing all the work and some people don't. See, when the Most High, when His Spirit will rest upon the church, is when everybody's in this mentality that whatever I have is not for me, it's for you. Whatever I have to benefit from, you can benefit from it. This is how a church is supposed to be. Everybody benefits from the resources. It's not that I got this and this is what's going on with me in my life and I'm just worried about what's going on in my particular house and that's all I care about. What I have is for the purpose and the utilization of the body. What I possess is for the body of believers. Read.
But they had all things common, and with great power gave the apostles witness of the resurrection of the Lord Yahushua.
Read on.
And great grace was given upon them all.
It says in what?
And great grace was upon them all. Neither was there any among them that lacked. For as many as were possessors of lands or houses sold them.
It says for many of them that was in that church, they possessed lands, they possessed houses. What else?
And brought the prices.
They sold them and brought the money that they earned. Go ahead.
Of the things that were sold, and laid them down at the apostles' feet.
Check out the faith of this church, the individuals in this church. Check out the faith of this congregation. They had enough faith to sell everything they possessed, brought the money that they got from the sale of it, and brought it and laid it down to the apostles' feet for the distribution of the whole church. Think about the faith that it takes to do that. That means you're sold on what the Most High is showing you. You're sold in your belief in the Most High. You got to be sold in your belief in the Most High to do this. You got to be rock solid in your faith to know that the Most High will take care of me if I look out for everybody else. This is what happens when everybody is sold and bought into this and believes that the Most High will take care of me for taking care of other people. Then the Spirit of the Most High can rest upon that whole congregation or that whole body.
It can be there.
You see the power of it.
So you're saying that the tithes as an individual benefits and keeps the Most High's attention on me.
Yep.
And then when we do it together, it keeps the Most High's attention on that house, that church, that body.
Con. Couple more scriptures. I want to get this point. Hebrews chapter 7 verse 19. Got to get this part too, because sometimes what happens is because I do give tithes, I do give offerings, then I feel like I'm righteous, and I feel like I did my part because I give to the church. Because a lot of times people walk away with this mentality. They walk away with this mentality of, well, I give tithes, I give my 10%, so you can't tell me nothing. I did my job. Long as I give my 10%, I did my job. So you shouldn't want nothing from me.
Yeah.
And don't ask me for nothing else, because I gave my 10%.
That's real. That's a crazy mind.
Sometimes we got individuals that will give 10%. They give their tithes.
Trade off.
But in their mind, I've done what I was supposed to do, and that's it. So we know that giving 10% is a law, right? It's a commandment. But read this, Hebrews chapter 7, verse 19.
Come. Hebrews chapter 7, verse 19 reads, For the law made nothing perfect.
It said what?
For the law made nothing perfect.
So because you give your tithes, you perfect now? Because you gave your 10%? Now that you give 10%, now you're perfect? Because you follow the law? It says the law made what?
Nothing perfect.
It says the law made nothing perfect. So just because now you follow the law don't make you perfect. Now that you give tithes, great, good, you're supposed to. It's supposed to benefit other people. And you're supposed to use tithes as a way to give the Most High thanksgiving in return for what He's blessed you with. But that doesn't necessarily make you righteous. Just because I gave my 10%. Read on.
For the law made nothing perfect, but the bringing in of a better hope did.
So, but the Most High is still looking at, how is your relationship with the Most High? Is it based on hope? Or is it based upon, I did my job? So you can't tell me nothing. So I'm done. I did my job. Luke chapter 18 verse 9.
Luke chapter 18 verse 9. And he spake this parable unto certain which trusted in themselves.
Because sometimes we think because we do give our 10%.
God.
I did give my tithes. So I don't owe nobody nothing. I don't owe you nothing.
What can you tell me?
What can you tell me? Hey, I did my job. He says, Christ said he spake this parable for what?
And he spake this parable unto certain which trusted in themselves,
Go ahead.
that they were righteous, and despised others.
Wow.
It says, who trusted themselves, that they were righteous, and what?
And despised others.
Now, because I keep the law, I give my tithes, and I give what I'm supposed to do for the Most High. So because I gave the Most High what I owe the Most High, I don't owe nobody nothing. So in return, because I gave the Most High what he asked for, I turn around and treat people like what?
Crap.
I treat people like crap. You're not allowed to do that either. See, a lot of times we think that because I've served the Most High in what he told me to do, and I follow the law, I'm good. But I don't have to maintain good relationships. I'm not responsible for good relationships. I just did what I was supposed to do. You told me to give tithes, I gave tithes. You told me to do service as a disciple, as a bishop. I did my service. I did my job. As a steward and a servant for Christ, as a soldier for Christ, I did my job. But I don't have to look at the person next to me with the right perspective. I don't have to care about the person next to me. I don't have to treat the person next to me with honor.
That's crazy.
And mercy. See, because some people think that because I did this for the Most High, then the hell with you. But that's somebody that thinks that they have an uneducated perspective. He said because they're trusting in their own righteousness.
That's true.
Read on.
Verse 10. 2 men went up into the temple to pray, the one a Pharisee and the other a publican.
Go ahead.
The Pharisee stood and prayed thus with himself.
It says the Pharisee stood and prayed thus with himself. What did the Pharisee say? Pharisee is a person that knows the law. They're a lawyer in the biblical times. They were lawgivers, and they were the judges and the executioners of the law. Read on.
God, I thank thee.
He said, God, I thank thee. Go ahead.
That I am not as other men are.
He says, I thank thee that what?
That I am not as other men are.
Right off the bat, what are you dealing with?
Above them.
Pride.
You're dealing with pride.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, you're dealing with pride. Read on.
Extortioners, unjust, adulterers, or even as this publican.
Or even as what?
This guy.
Or even as this publican.
Or even as this publican right next to me in the church.
I think I'm not like this guy.
Thank the Most High that I ain't like you, didn't make me like him. What is this person doing already? They're comparing themselves to other people.
Yes,
They've already passed judgment that this person is shallow, that this person is unjust. They've already passed judgment that this person is worthless. They already passed judgment that this person has no value. And why is that? Read on.
Verse 12. I fast twice in the week.
He said, I do what?
I fast twice in the week.
I don't eat twice in a what?
In the week.
So 5 out of 7 days I don't eat. I fast. So I'm justified. I'm righteous because I fasted. What else?
I give tithes of all that I possess.
He said, I do what?
I give tithes of all that I possess.
Does this man give his 10%?
God.
They give his 10%. He fasts. He give his 10%, or she give her 10%. Go ahead.
And the publican, standing afar off, would not lift up so much as his eyes unto heaven, but smote upon his breast, saying, God be merciful to me, a sinner. I tell you, this man went down to his house justified rather than others.
He says the man that was the one that didn't do those things that the Pharisee did, but could acknowledge and confess his sins, was justified in his prayers to the Most High. Simply because Following the law don't make you righteous. Giving tithes don't make you righteous. You still have a responsibility to maintain good relationships with the people around you. You don't get to serve the Most High and say, I met all the demands of the Father, but turn around and treat your brother and your sister like crap. You don't get to do that. The Most High will not accept your offerings. That's why it says the one that didn't do those things was more justified than the one that did those things. Because the law don't make you righteous. The law don't make you perfect. You gotta both give tithes, and you gotta give offerings, and you gotta treat your people right. And you have to have mercy on your neighbor. Last verse, Malachi chapter 3, verse 9.
Come.
Malachi chapter 3 and verse 9.
Read that.
Ye are cursed with a curse, for ye have robbed me, even this whole nation. Bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse, that there may be meat in mine house, and prove me now herewith, saith the Lord of hosts, if I would not open you the windows of heaven, and pour you out a blessing, that there shall not be room enough to receive it.
So you gotta both give the Most High what He asked from you, but also you have to have healthy relationships with the people around you. You're responsible for both. And so your tithes are invalid if you have crappy relationships.
Damn.
All right? So there's more to the class, but I think it's already 10 o'clock. There's another portion, but I think that's good enough for now.
And that's a balance chapter. You can't one can't. There's that counterbalance.
Right.
You got the relationship with the Most High, and then you got the relationship with people. And that's a balance.
You got to do both. You don't get to say, well, since I did one to the Most High, I don't have to have a relationship with the people around me. You do. You still got to maintain a healthy relationship with the people around you. You still got to have mercy and long suffering and patience with the people around you.
Yeah, bro.
All right. So with that, we're going to go ahead and just cut the class. Say shalom.
Shalom.
I hope it was easily understood. I don't think it was too difficult at all. We know what the Most High's demands are, what His commandments are, and also tithes. Like I said, it's an opportunity to gain a relationship with the Father. It's an opportunity to get close, to restore your relationship with the Father. Put the Most High to the test. All right. So we want to say the water for watching, and we might just finish up the other part later on, but I know it'll be long if we keep going. So we want to say shalom, and the water for watching. We got class again on Friday. All right, shalom.
Zoomers, YouTubers, the water.
Yeah.
Finish, right?
Yeah. I think it just.